All right, looks like we are live. Let me refresh. Make sure everybody can hear us and see us. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We're just getting everything started here. And, well, it would help if I was in the correct group. There we go. All right.
Details.
Let me tag everybody. So they will know we are going live. Perfect. Awesome. I'll pull this up so I can monitor. And let me see one more thing, and then we're going to get started really, really shortly. Cool. Awesome. Well, welcome, everybody. It is David Thomas. I have with me Mr. Jay Woolwine, as always. And today we are going to be talking about having a vision. All right. Having a vision, a large vision, a big vision for a large, huge for your life. All right. So write that down. Take notes if you're in a position to do so. And, that's the topic that we want to talk about today. So I'm going to be sharing some things, and Jay's going to be sharing some things with y'all that we believe can be life-changing for you. All right. It has been for us in our lives. We've developed this attitude of unlimited possibility because of this mindset, because of the vision we have for our lives, this abundance mindset. And it takes several years to really develop this. So you have to constantly work on it. It's not something you're just born with. None of us are. Actually, we're born with the opposite, and we're ingrained in us as children the opposite because our parents are telling us money doesn't grow on trees and all this kind of stuff, right? So we're going to dive into that today on how important this is and how you can do this. So we're going to share some things that have made a difference for us.
Cool. I'm going to share a little story. I was actually reading about this. It's been quite a while, but some of you might recognize this story. If you do. Some of you might not, but it's about an actor, right? It's about a young guy that wanted to be an actor, and this is in like the early 80s, and he wasn't actually getting the big acting roles or the big parts that he really wanted, and he was broke, right? I mean, most struggling actors, as that term goes, are struggling and they're discouraged, right? And he used to drive this beat up car all over the place. And this one night he drove up to this Outlook, that looks out over Los Angeles, over Hollywood probably. And he did something kind of unusual, right? He actually wrote himself a check for $10,000, right? For acting services rendered.
10 million.
For $10 million. Sorry, not 10,000. For $10 million.
He had a small vision.
yeah, a really small vision. I just want 10,000. That's it. Anyway, this guy had grown up very poor, right? At one point, his family lived in a Volkswagen bus, right? In a van. I have a van. I don't live in it down by the river, but Anyway, he put that check in his wallet and he kept it there, right? And when things got tough, he'd pull it out and look at it and remind himself of that dream. And listen to this. A dozen years later, right? That same comedian, Jim Carrey, was making $15 to $25 million per movie, right? And just think about that. That's just having a vision, right? Setting a goal and putting it in front of you and keeping it in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, what would have happened if he had gotten rid of that check? If he had never written himself that check, would he be Jim Carrey that we all know of? Probably not, because it took that vision to keep him going, especially when times were rough, right? Studies tell us all the time that we move towards what we consistently have in front of us. What we consistently see usually will come to pass. So if you keep something in the forefront of your mind, in the forefront of your eyes all the time, and that's what I want you to take, and that's what Jay wants you to take from that story from Jim Carrey, is keep something in front of you all the time, even if it's just symbolic, that will remind you of why you're doing what you're doing and what you're believing in and living for every single day.
Exactly, dude. And so think about that, guys. I mean, you might not be reaching your highest potential right now, right? You might not be at the rank in the business that you want right now. You might not have the trading profits you want right now. And it's not because you don't have faith or believe it, right? It's not because you're not talented. It's not because you don't have determination. And it's because you're not keeping the right things in front of you, right? You have to keep that vision right in front of you all the time, right? And what you keep in front of you is what you're moving toward.
Yeah. I mean, think about our dominant thoughts each day. But we are moving towards those things. So whether they're positive or whether they're negative, we're moving towards that. A lot of you have probably heard that, right? Your mind doesn't care what you plant in it, negative or positive, but it's just going to grow it. So it's something that we see every day. It will remind us what you're believing in every single day, what you're living for every single day, something that inspires you, something that ignites your faith in what you're doing. I know some of you read the Bible, right? It says, where there's no vision, the people will perish. So guys, with no vision, you're going to get stuck. And that's why many people have lost their passion in life. That's why many people are literally the walking dead, breathing corpses every single day, because they've lost their passion. They've lost their purpose. They don't have their goals. They don't have a vision for their life. They're just trying to get through the next weekend, And we want so much more than that for you guys.
Yeah. They've lost their passion. And when you believe, when you truly believe that you can do great things, right? When you truly believe that, you can set a new standard for your family, right? You literally just supersize your vision, right? And a lot of times when I talk to people, they say like these limiting thoughts, right? Or limiting beliefs that you can see them. They say things like, I can't really imagine that ever happening to me. Right? I can't imagine being that blessed. I can't imagine having a 7-figure trading account, right? I can't imagine hitting chairman 25 or 50 or whatever. That's all I think about. Right? It's got to be in front of you, right? If you can't believe that could happen to you, you're 100% right? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, because it's not going to happen to you, right? If you don't have that vision, it's not ever going to be a reality for you. It's not ever going to happen, right? Because without vision, you're not going to get the best, right? You're going to get the rest, right? You're not going to be the winner that you were meant to be. You have to have that vision and keep it out in front of you all the time and believe that it's there for you.
Yeah. And so that's our message for you today, is we want you to create a larger vision for yourself, for your life, for your family, for your business. Because again, what we are thinking about all day long is what we're constantly moving towards. All right. So what we're looking at in our mind's eye, in fact, Helen Keller, she actually said, she was asked, what is worse than being blind? And she replied, having eyes to see, but no vision. Right. So we have to have a vision. If we don't envision, like the Bible said, we're going to perish. You're not going to smash the chairman. You're not going to smash the profits in the market. So we've got to create the most important thing that we can create. Have a big dream, so big that today and all its problems look tiny. Having a future so bright that, you need sunglasses, right? That will be the very thing that's going to pull you out of bed in the morning. Not just, I want to make money. Don't just say, okay, well, I want to make money, because guess what? God will send down $1 and say, okay, you made some money, right? You got to be specific. Something that will literally pop you out of the bed each morning. I'm going to go after it, right? I've got to wake up earlier. I've got to go to bed earlier. I've got to, this is how I'm going to make the change in my life. So guys, remember, it's not going to change unless you create that vision for yourself. All right. So hope you get value out of this. We actually, we really appreciate everybody on here. It means a lot that you're watching with us. I hope you're getting value. We love you. We appreciate you. And y'all have a great weekend. All right. Thanks, Jay. God bless. See you. Bye.